The TPP still needs to be ratified by the national legislatures of the signatory nations. That includes Canada, of course, after a federal election. The TPP covers 40% of the $28 trillion global economy, encompassing 800 million people. The Peterson Institute for International Economics projects the deal will deliver 0.5%, $10 billion a year boost to Canadian GDP by 2025. When combined with the Canada-Korea Free Trade Agreement and the comprehensive economic and trade with the European Union, Canada will have gained preferential access covering 90% of our exports. If it's ratified, the TPP may serve as a framework for future deals with countries like India, Indonesia, Taiwan, and possibly China. Time for the big picture. Armin Yanuzan is a senior economist with the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives. Bill Robson is the president and CEO of the C.D. Howe Institute, and Goldie Hyder is president and CEO of Hill & Knowlton Strategies. Good to see all of you. So let's start here with, Armin, just what this means. Obviously, we have to ratify it. I don't get the impression that anybody's going to not ratify this thing, but is this good? Are you happy? Is this a good deal for Canada?
I don't know whether it's going to get ratified because it's not clear that it's going to get ratified in the U.S. This is going to be the topic of a lot of noise over the next year, right up to the presidential election, about whether it's good for more than just investors. This is less about trade than it is about investor protections and a whole host of things that broadens and deepens the rights of investors and doesn't do much for workers and consumers.
But, Bill, doesn't it open up a bunch of markets? If our businesses actually get up and go there, which is a big if, but if they do, is this not kind of the world at our doorstep now? When we get all of these deals done, if we get all of these deals done?
Well, we're the big picture panel, so for me the biggest picture here is, in a sense, what happened in the 1930s and the 1920s and 30s when the world economy was in distress and everybody slammed up trade barriers and went into a tailspin. This time, trade liberalization is continuing, and I think that's a very, very good thing. I wouldn't have predicted it. It's a very positive development. So yes, it's good from that point of view. It does provide the market access. And then for Canada also, I think what's understated in these discussions, but very important, is it provides us with access to imports. Because what you want is to be a great place to do stuff, add value, and the way that you set yourself up that way is if you can source from anywhere and then you can sell it anywhere. And a deal like this really helps.
Goldie, I mean, I guess one question I would have is whether so far in our history of trade agreements, other than NAFTA, it actually has deepened our relationships with some of these other countries. Now, so far they've been kind of small, and it's too early to say with South Korea. But can we say that we will actually capitalize on this?
Well, look, you're right, it is too early to say in terms of looking at past examples, but I do think that this is the prototype, as you noted in your intro, about the way forward in a globalized environment, in a globalized community where every country is looking to participate in that supply chain, whether it's for goods or services. Canada has to figure that out itself, and I think these deals mature countries, they mature the economy, they mature our people to realize that we can't be protectionist, we need to participate, and we need to do so in this global environment. There will always be someone on the other side, but I think that number has largely been diminished because of the success of the Canada-US NAFTA agreements, to tell you the truth.
Armin is still not happy, though. You call it more about investor protection than pro-business. Let's drill into that a little bit and find out whether these guys agree or disagree with that.
Yeah, well, I actually want to pick up on something you said, Bill, that in the wake of the 1930s, nations turned to protectionism, and we didn't see that this time, and we saw, as you pointed out, more trade liberalization. We've also seen falling exports as a share of the economy. The reason for which is all the nations were looking at monetary policy and export-driven growth to propel us out of the funk that we were in. But the reason why you're looking at export-driven growth is exports are some other nation's consumers buying your stuff because your own consumers are hammered. And so what we've got is this global phenomenon of very slow aggregate demand, and everybody's saying, I can't afford to pay you more, I'm going to lay you off. So there's this kind of self-fulfilling prophecy of, with more and more competition, less and less demand, squeezing purchasing power of workers in every nation, and then expecting exports to lift us out of it. So this trade liberalization that you're talking about is about the rules for investors. It's really not about stimulating more trade. In fact, there's 30 chapters in this trade deal. Most of them are not about trade. They've got passing glances at trade.
Well, because trade, some of the things that you do with trade are a little simpler. if you're cutting tariffs, it doesn't take very much text to say that.
This isn't about primarily about cutting tariffs. It's about protecting investors' investments and cutting red tape for multinationals.
I mean, we're seeing tariffs in a whole bunch of different industries ultimately disappear.
18,000 of them, but
That's
most
fantastic.
of the trade deal is not about tariffs. Most of it is about cutting red tape for multinationals. One of them, by the way, if you want to talk about the impact on workers, is the ability of multinationals to move workers intra-corporate. And we've made a lot of noise about temporary foreign workers. The biggest category of temporary foreign worker in this country is through these international mobility agreements. Expect a lot more temporary.
Okay,
and they're very good. Can I just get in though?
You can, but I want to bring Goldie in too.
Sure, but I'll just respond particularly on that one point. One of Canada's massive export success stories over the last little while has been high-end professional services. We were focused on natural resources and didn't pay so much attention to that. Movements of people are critical to that. Yeah. If you're exporting engineering services or IT services, then people
but we still have labor laws that will protect them. If you're worried about, I'm not kidding at all. And I think cutting red tape for business is a good thing. Hold on, though. Goldie,
I think it's great when people cross international borders. I actually like that. I think it makes the world more prosperous and friendly.
Everybody's so unruly today. Goldie, I want to bring you in.
I'm not, for the record, I'm not.
I mean, there is if you hold the view that trade is more open trade, more liberal trade is good, then you must hold the view that getting rid of tariffs is a good thing. And I guess I would, if I'm putting myself in a camp, I would say taking a tariff off of a goods or service is a good thing. And so if there's a bunch of that here, does that just make it a good thing?
Well, look, I think Armin is, with great respect, but you know, the narrative is a construct of the past. I think this whole idea that there are evil empires, evil corporations that are out to control the world. Look, who are the consumers? Consumers also happen to be shareholders. It's not like someone's a consumer and an entirely different person is a shareholder, either directly or indirectly through their pension plans and their savings plans. We're conflicted in that extent. And what these trade deals doing are, I think, modernizing the realities of a globalized environment. It's been the journey that we've been on for some time. This government's particularly been on it. It has been given a very early Christmas present. I know they wanted this deal to be done at the beginning of the campaign. They're probably extremely grateful it's coming now at the end of this campaign. It may or may not have any impact, but boy, it's a really good news story for people who want to build this economy.
Well, so let's just actually hit that, because I know we could argue about the other for a long time, but is this good politically? Because you can kind of slice it in different ways, right? You could say, yes, it's another trade agreement, but you could also say there are all these concerns. It was done in secret. We don't know what it is, which is being played up by opposition parties.
Yeah, and rightly so, because there is a covenant or a convention, a parliamentary convention, about if you're going to do something that you have no choice to do, like getting involved in a free trade agreement that gets signed during an election, you must consult with the opposition parties, and that has not happened. So there are, this is like proroguing. There's all sorts of rules that have happened that have been kind of bent and broken. I think every party has got a take on this trade agreement, but it's more heat than light. We can't talk about it because we haven't seen the terms of it.
Right.
When do we get to have, this is the first free trade election we've had where we don't actually know what the terms are, and that's a big problem politically.
Would you agree with that, Bill, that the timing of this is a little, I mean, we didn't set the timing, by the way.
Right.
This isn't a cynical conservative
we're
ploy.
not the sole partner here.
We're lucky to be there if we want to be there, and the timing was well underway. But would you agree that it is kind of late and not enough discussion of what's in it?
It's a problematic time to do it because often during election campaigns you kind of get that lowest common denominator dynamic, and mostly what we're hearing about, or at least today what I've been hearing about, is the dairy farmers who don't like it and some of the auto parts producers who are nervous about the content requirements. When you look at the upside, though, it is enormous, and some of it's kind of diffuse, which is why you don't see that. What I would go back to is to say, after the free trade agreement with the U.S. and then after, there were a lot of movements then made to just accelerate the tariff removals, because people said, okay, well, we've made the commitment, let's just get this stuff out of the way faster, because once it was out of the way, people just found it a lot easier to do business. So I do think that this is a positive thing for Canada. We will ratify it. We'll have to look at it as all the countries will. I'm hopeful that we go ahead.
Goldie, what's your view on kind of the politics of this?
Well, I think from the political side, it's hard to say whether, the TPP will be the subject of conversation at tonight's dinner table or over Thanksgiving weekend. It's something that's so much further out into the future. People don't even know yet, but CETA actually still not even signed. So I don't think that's what's going to move people. I think what is an opportunity for the government, though, is to be able to say, listen, we're the guys who got this done. Without this, it would have been even more challenging for Canada. You can trust us with the economy. It's quite clear Mr. Mulcair is going hard the other way, but no one actually believes that they would not sign sign this deal, it would come before a parliament, most likely a minority parliament, in which it appears Mr. Trudeau would break that vote, and he's suggesting he'd support the view that the current government has and support TPP. Process don't matter, by the way, Amanda. You mentioned process. No one cares about process. The more media talks about process, the more politicians
What do you mean, like negotiating in
it.
secret? I could not
No, it
disagree
wasn't a
with you less.
negotiation in secret.
Sure it
It
is.
was a negotiation. No, it wasn't.
Everything we know about this was leaked by interested parties, and very successfully on the parts manufacturers. They actually, I think, managed to move the dial a little bit. But we don't. There's a bunch of stuff. We don't know whether crown corporations are going to be forbidden from competing with the private sector. Which, by the way, I got a conflict of interest on that one. And don't tell the folks at Canada Post, or for that matter, a bunch of sovereign wealth funds and China. So there's stuff in here that may come out as like a snake out of a jar.
Trade deals are not negotiated in the public. I don't think that's a fair expectation. This is a process that's been going on with 11 other countries for a very long period of time. But as I said, the more we talk about process, the more people are tuning out. What I think people care about is, does this mean anything for me? And it's too early to say, but I'd say yes, it's a good news story.
All right, we got to leave it there. Armin's literally pulling her hair out, so we're going to talk about this again, I'm sure of it very soon. That's the big picture.
My hair out.